Hey, Dave the Butterfly Guy here. Hey, today I wanted to give you a tour of my butterfly garden. I thought I'd start with the entryway where I've got my little sign identifying the garden, and I'm going to walk through some of the plants I've planted to attract butterflies this year. So at the beginning here I've got these petunias. Petunias are nice. They're an annual plant that give a little color early in the season. And as we move along here, I planted these alyssums. They come in white, purple, so I've got a mix of those. Those will be really nice as they fill out for the butterflies. And inside those, a couple of natural milkweeds have grown here also. And again, milkweed is a good host plant for monarch butterflies. And then at the end of my entryway here on this end, I planted a phlox plant. And phlox will really bloom nice later in the year and add a little color here to the entryway. Then here on the other side of my entryway to the garden, I start with this Hyssop agastache, right? It's a complicated word, but it's a real cool perennial flower that comes up every year and will really pollinate and bring in a lot of butterflies later in the season. And then next to it, I planted these cosmos. And again, cosmo brings a lot of color. It's an annual. And again, it works at the beginning of the season to bring a little color and life to your garden. As we get into the butterfly garden a little further, I've got a mix of different plants going on. This is the third year of my garden, so some of the plants I've had are really starting to develop and blossom nicely. But I'm really excited about this plant I planted this year. So this is dill. And one of the most fabulous butterflies you can attract to a butterfly garden is the swallowtail. And swallowtails love dill. They use it as a host plant. Next to it, I've planted Marguerite daisy, which again adds a little white to the garden and gives a little flower early in the season. And then last fall and early this spring, I planted some additional milkweed to my garden because again, milkweed is really critical for the monarch. It's that host plant where they lay their eggs on it. When the caterpillar comes, that's what it eats. It only eats milkweed. And then later in the season, milkweed blossoms, and when the monarch butterfly is fully developed, they really like the pollen of the milkweed. As we get further into the garden, a couple years ago I planted a wild mix of flowers. So it's made up of daisies and violets, alyssums, yarrow, a really nice mix. I just let it go wild and it comes back every year and it'll start blossoming here soon. A couple other plants I planted that are really nice for butterflies are the black-eyed Susans. I've got a couple of purple coneflowers. Purple coneflowers are really a great flower. And then this year I just put in a couple annuals, a couple pansies to again bring a little color into the garden earlier in the season. In addition to near the wildflower area, I've planted some sedums. So sedums, I have 6 sedums in the garden here. Sedums are great. They blossom a little later in the season. They give really nice pollinating flowers. And then behind the sedums, I've got a number of liatris. So liatris also blossom nice. They're kind of a stem flower with purple. You plant them as a bulb. They come up year after year. And again, those will be coming up sometime closer to July. So the land that I have in my backyard, this used to be farmland. And over time, it stopped being farmed and wild invasive grasses kind of overtook this area. There was not a lot of pollinating flowers, so that's what I'm trying to do, is just take a piece of it and put some pollinating flowers and kind of make it a nice butterfly habitat. And again, this is kind of my stretch where I put in some milkweed and it's really starting to grow nicely. It's kind of the core to have those host plants with a butterfly garden. And again, I just mowed some paths so we could walk through these wild grasses, invasive grasses, and kind of have a path through the garden. And then on this back side, this is my favorite part. I have a little string here where I planted zinnias. And zinnias are a fantastic flower for any butterfly garden. They grow 30 to 36 inches tall. I've got them just starting to come up now, but they're big, huge blossoms, and butterflies love them. Monarchs, swallowtails, All kinds of butterflies are attracted to these zinnias.
All right, and then I think every year it's important to add a little bit to my garden. And so this year I'm really excited about adding
these sunflower seeds. So sunflower seeds are a great addition. One, they're big and colorful flowers. I've planted the giant sunflower. These will grow up to 16 feet tall. And I've put 7 of them along the back of this edge here. And again, they're really great for not only butterflies, but they're really good for birds and create these great seeds later in the year that'll attract birds. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour of my butterfly garden. I look forward to giving you updates across the summer to see how things are coming in and seeing if we can attract some butterflies. So for now, Dave the Butterfly Guy,